So UFC 310 is just a couple of days away, ladies and gentlemen, and there are some really good fights that are going to be going down in the main card. Of course, we got Cyril Gane coming back, facing off against Alexander Volkov. We got Shavkat Rakhmonov, the boogeyman of the welterweight division, taking on Ian Machado Gary. And of course, we got Alexander Pantoja taking on Kai Asakura. Those are already really good fights. There is one fight particularly in the main card that I have no idea why it's going down in the main card. Obviously, I'm talking about the Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie fight. That fight makes no sense whatsoever to be put together, nor does that fight make any sense to be in the main card. Let me just say that. I was thinking about a couple of reasons why the UFC would want to put this fight together, and I came up with, one very interesting perspective, and hopefully you guys understand this. Maybe the UFC and Dana White, they're probably looking out for us. They're probably like, man, you know what, the fans have been great this year. They've expanded the sport in amazing ways. Let's go ahead and pay them back, right? Maybe Dana White in the UFC knows that Bryce Mitchell is going to absolutely destroy Kron Gracie, and those of you guys that bet on this fight could probably walk out with a little bit of bread. That's literally the only reason I could come up with. I mean, we could be pretty sure of a couple of things. Kron Gracie's gonna show up to the octagon scooting his ass, trying to use his jiu-jitsu to win this fight, and it's not bad, but it's definitely lacking the modern UFC type style, if I'm just being completely honest, because most UFC fighters have some striking development, and Kron Gracie really seems to have zero based on his last performance. It was a pretty lackluster, and I'm honestly expecting the same freaking thing. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we see a new and improved Kron Gracie. Maybe he, went to kickboxing class. Even if it's kickboxing cardio, you know what I'm saying? We need to see something from Kron Gracie. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But if I'm just being honest, I really don't see that happening at all. I mean, we really don't know the negotiations on how this fight was even put together. I mean, there is a theory out there that Kron Gracie is using his family name to get some of these big fights in this main card. I mean, yeah, it's Bryce Mitchell, but it's still in the main card. Bryce Mitchell's a good fighter. He is a very good fighter. We've seen some decent striking. He looks really good. I don't think anybody out there is going to pick Kron Gracie to get a win over Bryce Mitchell. It just wouldn't make any sense based on what we've seen from the past couple of performances from each fighter. I mean, Bryce Mitchell, even though he got knocked out or whatever, and he lost to Ilia Topuria, I mean, this dude has some pretty good wins in the UFC. And for Kron Gracie, I mean, what can we say about him? The dude scoots his ass, and he has no striking, nothing. I mean, he really is an underdeveloped fighter for the sense of being a professional MMA, competitor. And I mean limited, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to remind you guys of a very crazy fight that it had me freaking speechless because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I literally couldn't. I know some of you guys, especially some of the people that have been watching the UFC for a while, are going to definitely remember this one. The Charles Jourdain versus Kron Gracie fight. That fight was freaking insane. Not because Kron Gracie had a great performance, but because he didn't throw not one punch in the entire fight. I'm going to say that again. Kron Gracie didn't throw not one punch against Charles Jourdain, and he was getting freaking mauled, destroyed. Imagine what Bryce Mitchell was going to do to that guy. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. All that is crazy. Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie doesn't make any sense at all. Like I said, the only theory I could come up with is the fact that, maybe the UFC is trying to give us an easy dub, maybe give us some easy bread for an easy win, because I feel like they even know Bryce Mitchell is going to walk out there and destroy, Kron Gracie. But that fight got replaced with another fight in the main card, and that was the Aljamain Sterling versus Movsar Evloev. That fight got moved to the prelims, and that is insane. One of the most insane decisions I think I've ever witnessed from the UFC. How is it that a former champion like Aljamain Sterling, gets moved to a prelim? And his opponent, an undefeated fighter, probably a win away from facing off against Ilia Topuria, Movsar Evloev. That fight got moved to the prelims. That makes no sense whatsoever. Movsar Evloev and Aljamain Sterling got absolutely freaking screwed. Say what you want to say about that fight. Oh, Aljamain Sterling's a brawling fighter. You know, he's a wrestler, blah, blah, blah. Same thing could be said about Movsar Evloev. Oh, he sucks. He's never finished a fight, blah, blah, blah. Bro, that fight is a good fight. That fight is a good fight. That is high level, you know, a high level fight against an undefeated fighter and a former champion. That fight, say what you want to say about it, it deserves to be on the main card. Yes, it deserves to be on the main card. Over Bryce Mitchell and Kron Gracie, 110% yes. Now, I came up with a theory, and this theory is something that I haven't heard really anybody say, and this just came to me. This literally just came to me. The Gracie family is a family that has a lot of impact in the MMA community. They have a lot of influence. You know, there's a lot of people out there that know about this family, and they know what they've done in the UFC. So would it be crazy to say that maybe the UFC is, you know, answering some favors? Maybe the Gracie family is pulling some favors, right? Because we all know what they've done for the sport, you know, and to say that they've done nothing for the sport would be absolutely ludicrous to say, because that's not the truth. The truth is they're highly influential, and they have a lot of influence, especially with the UFC. So maybe they're pumping some life into Kron Gracie. Maybe they're like, hey, Dana, you know what I'm saying? Look what I did for the UFC back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know, put him against somebody that's, you know, tough fight. Maybe he could beat him. Somebody like Bryce Mitchell. Would it be crazy to say that? Would that be insane? Is that an insane take? I haven't heard anybody say that on the in MMA YouTube at all. But I think that that's highly probable. I think that that's a possibility that we should definitely be looking into, because why else would this fight be put together? This fight is an interesting one. It definitely is an interesting one. I'm smelling money here. I'm whiffing bank. I'm whiffing racks, ladies and gentlemen. I feel like the UFC offered Bryce Mitchell a whole lot of money for this fight, because why would Bryce Mitchell say yes to this? He gains nothing from this fight. He gains absolutely freaking nothing for this fight. If he beats Kron Gracie, what does he actually win? What does he win from that? Is he a step closer for fighting for the belt? No, hell no, because everybody's just gonna say the same thing. Oh, he beat Kron Gracie. He was supposed to beat him. Watch this. What does Kron Gracie gain from beating somebody like Bryce Mitchell? The UFC world, the MMA world would go absolutely freaking insane. Kron Gracie beat who? Bryce Mitchell? What? I smell bank here. I smell money. I smell favors, and I smell a whole lot of, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much what I could come up with, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe the UFC is trying to make us, you know, get a little bit of bread in our pockets, you know, by getting us a, you know, almost for sure, you know, dub in the bets, you know. Maybe, you know, the Gracie family is pulling some strings. Maybe they're asking for some favors, because like I said, Bryce Mitchell has absolutely nothing to gain from beating Kron Gracie. Kron Gracie definitely is gonna have a lot of upside if he beats someone like Bryce Mitchell. That's why I feel like maybe some favors are getting pulled, you know, in the back end that we don't know about. Maybe we'll never know about this, but those are some of the theories that I came up with. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. This video was very fun to make. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. As always, it's a pleasure. Peace out and have a good one.